This one.
Greetings, everybody. This is Wesley Pepper. This is welcome to the Art Lexcia podcast, and welcome to episode 181. To all my new listeners and returning listeners, of course, much love to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the episodes we published last week. I thought those gigs were pretty cool. And if you haven't checked them out, they're all on the YouTube channel. But let's get to today's episode. And today we're talking about something I haven't featured on this platform before. We're talking about ballet and dance in particular, or dance and ballet in particular. And we're talking to Paula Brown from Brown Ballerinas Global. They've got a dope-ass initiative that's starting on the 31st of March to the 12th of April in both in Joburg, Johannesburg, and PE or Gqeberha if you're in South Africa. But so yeah, first and foremost, Paula, my sister, good morning and welcome to the Art Lexcia podcast.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man, blessed to have you here. Very experienced dancer you are. Can you just start off with giving us a background on the Brown Ballerinas Global? What are they about? What's your role in it, and so forth? And then we'll just take it from there.
Well, the name definitely has a double entendre. Of course, I'm Paula Brown, and therefore we have Brown Ballerinas. But as you said, what is Brown Ballerinas? Brown Ballerinas was developed over our pandemic, our world pandemic that we had. And so because I was able to sit with myself and have the opportunity to really understand and realize that there was a lack of representation in classical ballet for brown and Black people. And I thought that it would be fitting to start my Brown Ballerinas company during that time. And the reason I said during that time, because that was a time where everybody was pivoting, any type of new ideas, any type of new branding, any type of, change in the world was happening then. This deficiency in Black and brown in classical ballet has always been the case, but during this pandemic, it was a perfect time to launch the brand. And so from there, I was able to meet with two young ladies who found me actually on social media and that were in South Africa. I began to mentor them and talk to them about their dance studio owners and the significant and importance of being technically trained as dancers. And that really started the push of ballerinas. I was able to bring 33 of the students from South Africa to my Kids Center residency in the States. And then now here I am full circle with a partnership with the Joburg Ballet with the Brown Ballerinas Global here.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Interesting. You say you started... Interesting that you say that there's not much representation in the ballet industry. I can second you on that. I've also seen very little representation there. So, but Paula, you are in partnership with, like you say, the South Africa, the Joburg Ballet Ministry, and there's another one.
Feet on Fire.
Yeah, Feet on Fire.
Elizabeth.
Yeah. Can you just tell us a little bit about both of them? I guess we can start off with the Joburg Ballet Theatre, with the Joburg Ballet.
Of course, yes. Well, the partnership with the Joburg Ballet comes with great excitement. They are a prestigious, renowned ballet company that has its history and its long-standing in classical ballet. And with my residency that I had at the Kennedy Center in the States, I thought it would be fitting for a great partnership. So as we speak, we have 10 Brown Ballerinas that are coming here for the program. And then we have students from the National School of the Arts, Pro Arte, Alphen Park Performing Arts School, and then the surrounding dance community area that will be participating in the program. And we will do that for 1 week, as you kind of mentioned. Then I am going to Port Elizabeth to partner with another school studio called Feet on Fire. And this is a young girl that I felt the need to partner with because she was young, she was innovative, really wanting to grow the community in Port Elizabeth, the dance community. And so we just really connected very well. And this part 2 leg of the Brown Ballerinas Global Intensive will be in Port Elizabeth.
Okay. Can we go back to what the actual program is? So let's start from the beginning. So what criteria does young people need to join? So what do you sort of look for? And then can you tell us what the actual program is about? Like what type of, how do you teach them? How does the program go about? Because 10 days or the few days seems quite, I mean, it doesn't seem a long time to teach anybody anything, or my limited understanding of ballet. But can you just explain to us the processes behind that?
Sure, yeah. So it's Brown Ballerinas Global Intensive. So the key word is intensive, if you can put quotation marks around that. And so for 5 days, yes, the students are in the studio from 8 a.m. to 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We do a culmination at the end of the day on Friday at 7 p.m. for friends and family and community dance community to see. And so they will have rigorous training in classical ballet, contemporary, jazz, modern, which is our Horton technique. And also we're going to be doing a little bit of, I forgot how to pronounce it, Mama Piano.
Mama Piano,
which is which is the South African hip hop style dance. And so the program is centered around very elite and top tier instructors. So we have Kitty, who is our renowned classical ballet dancer here in South Africa, who's going to be doing the ballet. We also have Tabani, who's from the Joburg Ballet. We have Hugani, who's a known artist here in South Africa, who's going to be doing the Mama Piano. And we have myself coming from the States. We have a young lady named Sakina that lives in Atlanta coming from the States. And we have Obadiah, who's coming from New York, coming from the States. So we have a vast group of teachers, and the children will be nonstop learning at a very intense, fast-paced. And it's a very exciting and great program. As I've already shared, I did it at the Kennedy Center with great reception and admiration for the program. It was very successful. And that's kind of just like the way we do things in the States anyway. We always have summer intensive. So I chose this time because this is traditionally your summer. Kids are out of break. And so this is, it's the same thing that I do in the States that I'm doing here. So it's a bit new and shocking for the South African, but it will be something that they will never forget. It will change their lives. They will grow and develop in that short period of time.
You mentioned that you worked at the Kennedy Center. We've been reading up like really horrible stuff that's been happening there with the changing of the guard. And this program that you are doing, very inclusive. It seems very anti what's happening in that part of the world. I don't really want to talk about it. I just wanted to highlight that. I just found that it's, we're watching that thing in South Africa and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Paula.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not, it is something that is existing, but what I have found for myself, it's not all, it's some. And so I just thank God right now, and I believe that I'm not affected. And so a lot of times it just depends on, the timing of things and where you are. I really know and see that what I do is for these children. It's giving back to them. And so I've been received with open arms everywhere I go.
Yeah. You mentioned that there's a whole variety of dance that you guys are teaching. And one thing about South Africa is that dance is very much the cornerstone of our, of culture. There's dancing we dance for everything. Yeah, we dance when there's politics. We dance when there's sport. We dance when there's, before you go to school, during school, after school, you dance for everything over here. As I said, it's very much part of our national identity. So with all this variety of different dance, I guess, like, what are you guys? Because you guys are also selecting 10 dancers to go back to the States, right? So what are you guys are?
Yes.
And I want you to comment on that. But just before you get there, just tell me, what are you guys looking for, or rather looking to identify in local dancers, or what constitutes a very good dancer? So yeah.
Well, what we're looking for as far as dancers for the program are those who are eager and passionate about dance. We have various levels, so we'll divide the groups when we do the 1 week training. We have 2 studios. And so we'll have those dancers that are, more trained, and I would say point proficient, meaning that they do point work. And then we have some that don't do point work, that are just learning, maybe 1 year in training. But what I do find here is, regardless of where they are, South Africa has a really good community of youth that are really, they have a lot of great natural ability. They have a very great eagerness to dance, and they're
Yeah.
very disciplined. And so, because of that, we are able to, based on what I can do and what I can pull out of them, I'm able to fit them all together and make them as one.
Okay.
I know that sounds probably, a little odd, but it's almost, if you can imagine it like a piece of canvas, and it's art. I'm able to just create this beautiful picture. I will be putting these dancers together, and I will make them out of this beautiful piece of art as one. And then from there, we're going to select some of those who are more advanced, because we would need that to come to the States, because we're on a different level as far as training in the States. They're more advanced dancers. So we would love to be able to bring 10 select dancers to the U.S. for the U.S. program. And this will be an ongoing relationship that I will have with the Joburg Ballet and with Port Elizabeth, Feet on Fire. So we can continue to grow these dancers. You can follow their journey. And eventually the goal is for the Brown Ballerinas Global is to create this company that will travel as performers. So right now, this is like the training platform, and then we'll turn this into a performance company.
Can you just tell us, how long does the program have? If they, the 10 dancers that does go to the States, how long will they be there? Where in the States are they going? And will they be working on,
So
like you say, will there be some production that you guys will be eventually working on and then taking out on the road?
yes, it's always ends in a production. In the States, the program is 2 weeks. So the dancers will come for a week's time with the travel and resting, and then the program. But the program itself is 2 weeks. And it's a great program. They actually have very top tier instructors from renowned dance companies and touring with Beyonce. I mean, some of those dancers are coming here as well, but they're just going to be trained by the most elite in the industry that the industry has to offer. And yeah, and so then we won't have an exact company. What I'm doing is I'm going to take, the company will launch in probably 26 or 27. So I'm going to take 1 to 2 years to develop these girls with this
Ah,
training, and then launch them as a company. And
yeah.
likely it will be the end of 2026, because we have an invitation in my next stop in September this year will be Seoul, Korea. So that's part of the global brand as well.
You mentioned girls. Is this invitation open for boys as well?
The invitation is open for boys as far as the training. I'm kind of exploring the option of making it just an all-female company, but I am exploring the option of adding boys. It's just very challenging to have boys.
Can
Here in
you can
South
you can,
Africa,
can, can you just explain a bit about that?
yeah, I mean, in the States, they're more inclined to, it's a stigma. They believe that boys should be in football and girls should be in ballet. And the ironic thing is I'm a professor at in the States at Bowie State University, and the football team, they have to take a ballet class with me. So
I've read up on
I think it's
certain
just,
sports that that does that. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's just a misinformation, of not understanding the importance of the ballet training as it relates to sports, but then also too as a career. So I'm trying to see where it's going to take me because my company and my brand is centered around youth. And that's where we have a lack of males in the art as dancers. We have a few, but it's probably about 5 to 7, 10% at the most.
Mm. You were mentioning youth. So what is the range of the age that you the dances that you are looking for?
So for the program here, the ages are 8 and up, mainly to around about 19.
Okay.
But as far as the Brown Ballerinas company that I will be launching from this global initiative, those are going to be ages 16 to 24.
Can you just explain to me that this is also something I'm interested in? I know in like with sport, for example, rugby, you need to condition your body from a very young age so your muscles can grow and so forth. Does the same happen in dance? That's why you're targeting the younger girls so you can condition their bodies, to grow into a professional dancer. Is it the same? Is it the same gig?
Of course, of course. That's why when you see, if you go anywhere and see a classical ballet dancer, you see the first thing you notice is the body.
Mm.
The training alone develops the body. It's a sport. It's just like any sport. You can tell, because I am a dancer and I'm an artist, I can, sit in the airport. Yesterday, I was sitting in a restaurant and I saw these three people come in and they look like tennis players. You can identify a tennis player. You can identify someone that runs track. You can identify a gymnast, a dancer. The sport itself shapes the body, shapes
Yeah.
and molds the body. So yes, you definitely want to start them at a young age. And also that's the age where, they are really interested. And so that's another thing, which is a very good thing to talk about is just being in the right environment at the age to receive the right information to develop the child as a dancer. There's so many dance schools that have come about because of social media and YouTube and TikTok. Everyone's opening up dance studios, but are they getting proficient training? No.
Mm. Mm. That's
And
actually, yeah.
so,
No,
yeah, where are we going
continue.
with that? I'm not really sure.
Interesting point. I'd like to ask this as well. Could you talk about conditioning? So does that do you also teach them about things like diet? Because I know that's very important. And sort of and I'm again relating this to other sports that I follow. Besides diet, there's also a lifestyle. There's also a certain discipline and so forth. So are those elements as well that you are very strong on?
Of course, that's exactly what I was going to say. Dance is a lifestyle.
Mm.
It requires not only the technique and training of the dancer, but the diet
Mm.
and the lifestyle that you live. And it's innate. It goes together. When you're dancing in the studio and you're sweating and you're working hard, once you're done, you crave something cold and something refreshing to eat. So fruits and vegetables are very important. But then because we have so many fast food advertisements that are pushed in our face, there are a lot of the young kids want to indulge in the fast
Mm.
food, which
Mm.
is okay, but
Mm.
not as a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the body needs to be nourished with the proper things to eat. And so I'm constantly pushing that along with the training. I found that when I started this business as a studio owner, I traveled around the world and I performed and did television and film and, former dancer with the Alvin Ailey Company. Debbie Allen brought me to Los Angeles. I did Broadway in New York. I did television and movies. I was signed to Arista Records as a lead singer of the group Snap. But what I found is that, the lifestyle that you live as far as, how you condition and train your bodies is so important. The foods that you eat. And so I constantly teach that when every environment that I'm in. when we go to the Joburg and we start on Monday with this program, in on the first day, the last class is going to be talking about pre-professional level industry, and also health and lifestyle and diet. So I will talk to the kids about, healthy eating and, the importance of eating fruits and vegetables. Because to be honest, a lot of kids, they don't like vegetables.
Yeah.
They're picky. And so, this is a great time to have that conversation and let them know the importance of it. And then also because in the States, we have a lot of health challenges with youth, with diabetes, early onset of diabetes and high cholesterol. And this is crazy, but it's all because of the fast food that's being pushed in front of them. And so I'm very big on, as you can hear me talking about it, I'm very big on health and diet, and the more that you indulge in good, healthy eating, the more you enjoy it. We provide lunch for them for the program. So, I select healthy salads, and then it's also an opportunity to introduce them to things that they may not normally have. Yeah. But if I'm not offering the lunch and they bring their own lunch like they do in the States, it's jokingly, I'm like the warden. I'm always walking around and, seeing what they're eating. And so because I do that, it makes them more responsible of wanting to bring in things that, that I not necessarily critique, but it's going to be good for them. They're not going to feel sluggish after they have lunch. And so it's all a joint effort of them learning, me providing the information. Let's come together and then enjoy food and enjoy different things. So it's really good. It's a really good time. I call it, the lunchtime is called Brown Ballerinas Table Talk. I've called it that because it's a time where, as a cultural exchange, I'll have the U.S. girls here, the South African dancers. They can come together. They eat lunch together. They can talk about various foods, and then Miss Brown walks around and sees what they're eating.
Yeah, awesome. I have to ask on this one here because I would also like to know. I read actually that the current administration in the States put a certain ban on certain African countries. As far as I'm concerned, Africa is not included in that, but I know there's a lot of political this and this tennis between the two nations. Having a diverse group of dancers in the States, is that going to be a political hotbed in moving forward? Because as you say, you only want to launch this thing in your company in maybe 2 years' time, and I would assume things might be a bit complicated by then.
Well, I think the thing is that it's always like, when people hear brown ballerinas, immediately they go to another side. So I always have to let people know that my name is Paula Brown, and I was trained classically as a ballet dancer. And so that's where the word Brown, the name, the brand Brown Ballerinas comes from. And as I develop this company and this brand, it's going to be worldwide. So it's going to be an opportunity for anyone that, wants to study classical ballet. True technique and training will be a part. So you're going to see a vast group of dancers of all colors, of all backgrounds. And I really just don't foresee it affecting me because that's just what I am. I had more. I mean, I don't really have the challenges now. I see everything changing. But, I stay true to what I am, what I'm doing and who I am. And, I let the art speak for itself.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Speaking about the art, you say that the program accumulates in a performance on the 4th of April. That's in Joburg, and the 12th of April in Gqeberha or PE. Can you just tell us a little bit about that? What will that production be about? And is that also the sort of the selection process where you guys choose the next 10 dancers? And just tell us a little bit about how that will work.
Yeah, so that is the opportunity where we will be selecting the dancers throughout the program. We'll be looking at girls and perhaps gentlemen to see who's ready to get this invitation to come to the U.S. but both programs end in a culmination. And so the culmination performance will consist of, as I mentioned, they will have ballet, contemporary, jazz, Horton, which is the modern technique, and Mama Piana. So those are 5 classes with 2 groups. Those are 10 classes, and each class will have a number. So those are 10 dance numbers that we'll do that will be is formed together as a culmination performance. And we will insert them with some of my brown ballerinas from the US for some of their pieces that they've learned. And so it's a very beautiful cultural arts exchange that the dance community will see here in Joburg at the Joburg Ballet Theater, and then in Port Elizabeth, it's going to be at the Savoy Theater. So the Joburg Theater, the Joburg Ballet on April 4th at 7 p.m. And then in Port Elizabeth, it'll be at the Savoy Theater on Saturday, April the 12th at, I believe it's at 1 p.m.
Yeah. It's at 1 p.m. And the one in Johannesburg is at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yes.
So, and it's all 150 per person. And just to my listeners, I will add all that details in the description box below if you missed it or anything. Paula, one last question.
Please come and see. Let me just share this real quick.
Please
come and see, because it's just, I was sitting in a restaurant just recently, and this woman I told, every time I mentioned brown ballerinas, people are really intrigued, like, what is that? And so she mentioned she had a little girl, and her little girl loves to, and this is what I get from everyone, loves to run around the house and dance. So I said, come, you've never seen ballet before. Ballet is a beautiful thing to see. Yeah. I love when I put on a performance, because people come in sitting like this, and then as soon as they hear the music, all of a sudden they just start sitting up, and they just become, they get engaged, and they're like looking, and they're just in awe. And so, we're inviting everyone to come.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to add a little bit about that from a South African context. Like I mentioned earlier on, dance is very much part of our national identity. But if you look at dance, you think more piano, TikTok videos and stuff like that. Don't necessarily always think classical dance and like ballet. So this is dope. I love this. Can you just tell us if anyone's listening to this, if they have daughters or sons or children that's interested, how do they become part of this program? Who do they contact? And
well, you still have time to register. You information on my website. Hopefully we'll be able to put up a link for that. But my website is Brown Ballerinas. You can follow me on Instagram, The Brown Ballerinas, and you'll find information there of the program. You can always send me an email, or you can send me a DM. Send me a DM. Let me know that you're interested, because I'm a very giving person. I don't turn anyone away. Even if you don't have any dance experience, you may be listening and saying, this sounds great for my child, but they've never danced before. Still bring them, and we'll find a place for them to fit in. I'm not one that turns down anyone.
Paula, I have to ask this one as well, as to do with Amapiano and the dance. You mentioned that you are very experienced. You've been all around the world and so forth. So I understand that you've seen different dances and from different cultures and so on. What's your take on Amapiano and the culture of dance around that? Is there something, I don't know, is there something that excites you about it? There's something different about it?
Yeah. So this is the reason. When I was young and growing up in classical ballet, I love classical ballet. But there was a side of me that just wanted to just gyrate and move my hips. And there was just no opportunity for that. And so I just love the fact that at the end of class, let my kids do a TikTok, from the little ones all the way up to the pre-professional level. And the joy that comes on their face when you say, when they're like, Miss Paula, can we do a TikTok? I'm like, okay. And I hold the camera. I mean, they're elated. They're so happy. And so I figured that, with the dancers coming from the US and the South African dancers here, what better time as this cultural exchange to add that part of dance to the program? I'm going to be tickled and excited about it as well. But I'm sure the dancers, they're going to love it. It gives them a time to just, like I told the dancers when I spoke to this Pro Arte Alphen Park Performing Arts Center school. I said, this is the time where you can let the bun down, because they have that bun. Their hair is just like tight in this bun all day. The mama piano classes are going to be at the end of the day. You can let your bun down. So this is the time for them to let the bun down and just enjoy and gyrate and, speak to their who they are today.
Thank you very much, Paula Brown, for all of that from Brown Ballerinas Global. To all my listeners, I will put all that other information in the description below there. That sounds really cool because, like you said, there's also during the holidays. To my understanding, I know the holidays, I think, starts this coming week on the 50 something. I don't know, but it's soon. It's soon. So yeah, there's also a lot of energy so that kids can always burn off that energy. And as you mentioned earlier on, there's also you're dealing also with lifestyle, which includes diet, which I think is very, very important. So big up to that, my sister, man. I will add all the details to all of this in the description below, and I will publish this episode in next week. I will definitely let Bridget know about it, and I'll promote it I promote all my episodes for a week, and then I chop it up into shorts, to share on all my social media platforms.
Great. Yeah, put the program and the performance.
I will do that.
So people, just in case they get it late, then they can come to the performance.
Yes. Yeah. That'll be very cool. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. Thank you for taking the time out. Enjoy the rest. It's still morning here in South Africa, so you still probably got a full day.
I do. Thank you so much, Wesley. I appreciate this and all the best.
Thank you very much, Paula, man. All the best for the show and take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Shap.